So we're 5 weeks into COVID-19 lockdown here in Luxembourg, and there's talk of a slow easing towards normalcy, no doubt thanks to the many heroes in our community. So Luxembourg has been unseasonably sunny these days, and with this easing, maybe there's hope for a cider on a terrace sometime in the future. I don't know, we can all hope. Speaking of cider, this episode features a cider trip on March 8th, before all this craziness started. I hope you like it. Now, in order to have cider, you need one super ingredient, and that's apples. And oh, does Luxembourg have apples. According to sources, 30 to 50 degrees latitude, north-south, is the sweet spot for apples. Luxembourg at 49.3 degrees is right in that sweet spot, boasting 150 varieties of apples. And so sprinkle in its proximity to the city of Trier, Germany, and its ancient Roman influences, and you have a deep historical affinity for all things apple, including cider. So Luxembourg's first and only cider company was started by 3 friends after a trip to UK steeped in delicious cider. And from that trip, we have Ramborn Cider Company. It's located in the small village of Born on the banks of the Zour River. Now imagine how epic the trip had to be for you to come back to your hometown and then start a cider company. So the small village of Born is located an hour and 25 minutes from the city center by bus. And while I'm always up for a free bus ride here and there, I was lucky enough to convince some friends to join me for the Ramborn's first tour of the season. Unbelievably lucky, so guess who didn't have to break out the bus pants for this trip? Started in 2013, the specialty cider company seeks to breathe new life into both Luxembourg's traditions and the old orchards that spread around the countryside. Ramborn works with 100 farmers to help produce the main cider and perry products that they make. So for €12, visitors can take a tour around the facilities, which culminates in a wonderful tasting session, with an equally wonderful explanation for each of the products that they have. So the tour starts with a nice explanation of the company, founding, followed by a well-made short video in one of the buildings. The same building houses some of the aging casks, and the owners take their time explaining some of the finer points of cask aging. The next stop in the tour is the loading and processing facilities that sit quiet after the harvest and press season. It's springtime, so this area of the facilities lays quiet. Ramborn makes all of its products from fresh squeezed juices, so once you make the juices, everything else kind of goes quiet. Now, throughout the tour guide speaks with such passion. You can hear the love in their explanation of what they do. And best of all, you can taste it in their products. You can tell right away Ramborn's passion for the Luxembourg traditions, apple varieties, and the commitment to saving the ancient trees that are around the Luxembourg area. From the very get-go of the tour, you can tell that Ramborn's committed to the Luxembourg farming legacy, and it's apparent to almost everything that they do. So after the short tour, the best part comes, and that's the tasting, which happens to take place in a table area in the nicely designed storefront. The tasting involves a sampling of their award-winning cider, which includes my favorite, which is the original, medium dry cider, Perry, made from pears, the Farmhouse, Cascade Hopped Cider, Meadow Orchard Ice Cider, and a really weird Luxembourg Garden Quince cider. Now, I'm not quite sure whether a quince qualifies as a cider or a perry, but honestly, whether it's a cider or a perry doesn't matter much to me because I pretty much like anything that tastes good. Now, full disclosure, unfortunately, I am not capable of doing justice to the Ramborn products. I do know that I prefer the subdued sweetness that the medium dry cider brings. I really like that one for its unique flavor. So in general, the tour was fantastic, and I have to applaud. Bravo, Ramborn. You managed to pry €12 from this cheapskate's hands, and actually I came away thinking that it was a bargain. So now the watch question. What watch did I drag to my cider adventures on March 8th? Well, enter the Swatch 2018 SURN101D, better known as the Swatch Touch. So judging from the collective groan I just heard, you might be wondering, why in the world would you buy a digital watch that was released in 2011? Well, in my defense, wait, the watch selection was really out of curiosity. What I wanted to know was, the Swatch Touch, how has it been going for 9 years as a model? I mean, really, this is a genuine question. I mean, it was introduced in 2011. It's a quirky digital watch, originally released around the time everybody was going nuts for iPhone 4S, and Party Rock was massively invading everybody's ears. So the watch features a curved LCD glass, pretty cool, with 6 functions, which includes 2 time zones, chronometer, alarm, and a timer. It's apparently water resistant for 30 meters, but I can't for the life of me think of the reason why I would strap this thing on and go underwater with it. So it's 39 millimeters wide. It's about 49.5 millimeters lug to lug, if there was a lug. And it's about 38 grams in terms of weight, so super light. I chose the red and blue model. I believe it came out in 2018. And paid approximately 80 euros. It was on special. Now, what made the Touch so interesting is the fact that it was the first Swatch watch using touch technology, so there's no pushers. Now, I haven't seen any technology sheets on what type of touch technology is incorporated, but it seems to be some kind of surface capacitive touch tech. And while the touch interface is the center point of the Swatch Touch, I think the most eye-catching or the most quirky point about this watch has to be the seconds display, which is right smack in the middle. The seconds display is about 12 millimeters tall, and it uses a really interesting 9-segment display as opposed to the conventional 7-segment digital display that we see everywhere. So what do I think about it? I mean, after spending some time with the watch, I definitely came away with some mixed feelings about this watch. Well, the number one positive for me is this throwback appeal. It has this retro quality about the touchscreen and the way that the watch feels and works. Yes, it has this weird beep and this click that comes from the watch, but all that kind of culminates in this weird nostalgic retro appeal. And the number 2 positive for this is shh. Listen. You get it? There's no ticking. Basically, the Swatch Touch saves you from that annoying ticking that you get from your other Swatch watches. You know, the ticking that forces you to sleep in separate rooms. Now to the points that I didn't like. So number 1, I really didn't like the LCD screen. It has this red curved glass, which is cool, but it really makes it hard to see the time. You have to have the right angle and the right amount of light to have any kind of visibility on what time it is. Number 2, so basically the touch screen. You have to have contact. Your skin has to make contact to the battery cover, the metal battery cover in the back, in order for it to work. And it has this great function where you put your 2 fingers into a certain position to activate the screen. But if you had just picked it up and you're touching the plastic parts of the watch, then it doesn't work. So you're sitting there fiddling with the damn thing until you finally realize, crap, I need to touch the metal portion so that I can actually have the capacitive touchscreen work, which is kind of annoying if you're trying to activate it while you have it off your wrist. So at the end of the day, if you like quirky things and have a little bit of patience, then I think this watch might work for you. For me, while I like the style, it just took a little bit too much effort for me to get used to it. So there you have it. All in all, it was a great trip on March 8th to the Ramborn Cider Company. Fantastic cider. So if you get a chance and you're in Luxembourg, please make a trip down to Born and enjoy the wonderful cider that we have in Luxembourg. And as for the Swatch Touch, I think for me it was just a little bit too much effort, but I can understand why some people have clung to it for 9 years. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and really, whatever you're wearing on your wrist, whether it's a Swatch Touch or a Rolex, you should continue being you. In the words of the immortal Humpty Hump from Digital Underground, do what you like. Peace.